Vow, view, vow, view, vow, view, vow, view, vow to view, vow, 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 vow to view,
Vow to view each other's movies, even though we don't always like them, but it's okay because we love each other and movies too.
Hey everyone, welcome to Vow To View, a Doof Media podcast all about marriage and the things we make each other watch. My name is Elise Daly.
And I'm Scott Daly.
And together,
we're the Dailies. This is the weekly podcast where each and every week my wife Elise and I select a movie loosely tied to a theme of our choice, and then we make the other person watch it. Or that was the show.
Ah, what do you mean, Scott? That was the show.
We're changing things up, Elise.
I don't know what that noise is.
I don't know what you're trying to do.
Anyways.
This is episode number 70, and we found that 70 episodes in and over 120 movies are just kind of running out of movies
Creative
to recommend
juices.
to each other.
It's not that like we don't have movies that we can recommend to each other. It's like trying to find the commonality between them, like the theme with it.
Yeah.
That just like it's getting to a point where I can only stretch myself so thin and so obscure.
Yeah.
That, you know what? If Scott hasn't seen a movie and I really want to have him watch it, I think we're to the point in our relationship where we don't have to have a podcast in order to say, hey, I really want him to watch that. So I'll just make a theme for it so that he has to watch it and then he can find something else to fit it.
I mean,
that's basically what's been happening.
We never had to do it. It was never a had to do. It's not like we went to relationship counseling and they were like, oh shit, you guys really need a podcast or you're not going to be able to work this shit out.
Well, they didn't tell us we needed a podcast. They said, we need you to watch movies that the other person watched. That's what they said.
That's not a thing that happened
It
at all.
is. It is. It's like, you know what? We need you to see where each other came from. So one way to do that is to watch movies.
Yeah, I mean, we're coming up. Not coming up. In January, it will be the 2-year anniversary of this podcast. We'll be hitting
3-year wedding anniversary.
We'll be hitting our 3-year wedding anniversary. So we've kind of, I think, moved out of the early phase of marriage. We moved into a different phase. And we moved into a phase where we both just like really watching teenage dramas and talking about them.
I mean, we've always loved that.
But that's what we're doing next. That's what we're doing.
That is
next.
what we're going to be doing next.
Yeah, so starting next week, the show will switch to a episode by episode discussion of the OC, and maybe once we finish the OC, we'll do something else. I don't know. It's like 90 episodes long. It's gonna be a while, but
it's only 4 seasons.
Yeah, 4 seasons of 22 episodes a season.
But it's less seasons than Smallville.
True.
So we can't do Smallville. That would take too long.
I mean, we could.
No, we can't.
We could.
No, we can't.
I mean, we could. But anyway, that is next week. This week, we got to finish up this show first. And we thought we'd do it this time by picking a movie that we both love. A movie that is important to both of us. A movie that is important to our relationship. I think going out on the marriage part of our show about a movie that is really important to our marriage.
Yeah, I think that's
just
a good way.
Just good theming. Really good theming of us this time. So we're going to be talking about the 2013 film About Time.
Yeah.
I have a lot to say about this movie.
Do you?
I might cry.
I always cry.
But first, Elise,
Yes.
for the final time, because we're not doing this in the new show.
We aren't?
No.
Yes, we
sorry,
are.
no.
We're doing it towards the end. We already discussed this.
I don't think so.
I mean, what better thing to talk about teenage drama with is like what teenage drama will eventually become, which is adult drama, which is Bachelor in Paradise. I mean, like...
We're not talking about Bachelor in Paradise, though.
Yes, we're talking about Bachelor in Paradise.
I mean, it's on right now, and we're not watching it, so...
Well, I'm going to be watching it, and you will be watching it, too. Scott, don't you shake your finger back at me. That doesn't make great audio. You taught me that. People can't see what it is that you're doing. And I really wish that they
really
could.
Sassy right
because
now.
he is just
really
shaking his
sassy.
hips and shoulders back and forth while waving that finger no. And you know what's going to happen? I'm going to hit him pretty soon.
At least talk to me about the finale of The Bachelorette.
Oh my gosh, guys. Okay, so.
Hey, we didn't do the thing.
The Bachelorette. There you go. Okay, so. Guys, this finale.
Full disclosure.
It was 2 nights.
Full disclosure.
Yes, full disclosure.
We talked about We talked about the first night last week.
Yes, we did.
I didn't see the second night. It was on Tuesday. Tuesday's
I know. I told you what it was.
My
though.
ward day. So Elise is in the driver's seat on this one. I cannot comment. So Elise, take it away.
So Hannah picks Jed, which
shocker.
Yuck. Anyways, back whenever.
Now, remind our audience.
Okay, so yes, I'm reminding you because back on their very first one-on-one date, Jed came clean to Hannah and said that he had initially decided to go on the show for his music career, but he actually had feelings for her and he liked her, but he wanted to be honest about that. And so they did have that conversation and he gave her that important piece of information. And then with that piece of information, she decided that she liked him. They had a very strange hometown date for him and that his family was very standoffish and very awkward towards her and not very accepting, which she realized that in hindsight had a lot to do with what ended up blowing up in Jed's face. So she picks Jed. They're like enjoying their engagement night 1. Night 2 of their engagement, Jed tells Hannah that he was dating someone before he went on the show. He ended it, but he thought that it would probably come out with all of the stuff that, like tabloids.
So producer
research.
had to know that it was coming, right? And give him the heads up.
He probably, maybe they said so, like, hey, if there's anything you want to tell her beforehand. And he thought, well, I'm sure this would come up. And so maybe that sort of thing. He said that he was just dating someone. It wasn't like a big deal. And they broke up before the show. Now, what ends up happening is from the time that they ended the show to the time that it started to air, the girlfriend of Jed actually came forward and said that they had been dating. They'd been dating for a very long time. He had said that he loved her. He wrote her a note before he went on the show and left it with her saying that everything is going to be okay. We'll always have our special place, which I forget what they said their special place was. We'll always have our special place. You'll meet me there. I love you. It's like what the note says. And so all of that comes out. And because all of that comes out, Hannah wants to talk to Jed. And because I guess they're contractually obligated, they have to have this filmed, even though the entire actual season is over. So we have the same sort of Becca and Ari sort of situation that we did last time, to where there's a conversation afterwards and the cameras are there. So Jed comes to Hannah. She is really upset, obviously. Asks him to be honest. He says that he had started dating this girl in October. Filming started in January, February. No, I think it started in March. I forget. I don't know. But he had started dating her in October. They'd been dating for months. She had met his parents. They had gone on trips together. He had met her parents. The girl's parents gave Jed for his birthday a trip to the Bahamas so that they would be gone over the girl's birthday. And
wait, I'm confused.
So it would be like if my parents gave you a trip to the Bahamas over my birthday. So we would both be there for my birthday, but it was a gift to you to get to go.
I see.
Yes.
Well, that's nice.
Yes, it was very nice. But I mean, kind of an elaborate gift if you're not exclusively dating is what he said.
Oh, this is the secret girl.
Yes.
Oh, I thought this was Hannah's
This is not
parents.
Hannah.
Oh.
No, this is the girlfriend that is not a girlfriend that he said, yes, he was sleeping with her, but he was also sleeping with other people too. So he didn't see why it was a big deal.
That's a very big deal.
He said that he regrettably got drunk, and that's no excuse for what happened. But when he was drunk, he told the girl that he left her. But that was not the only time that he said that he left her. He told her that he left her multiple times after that. And the night that he left to go to the show, he had also said that he left her in a phone call and in text messages. Anyway.
So, okay.
Jed pulled a bad one. Hannah was like, this is not what I said yes to. Took off the ring and broke up with him.
But now she's dating the other guy, right?
Yeah. And then Tyler came out and she was like, hey, Tyler, I'm single. You're single. Want to go grab drinks? And they had an intimate overnight date with drinks. Pictures taken of him leaving her apartment with an overnight bag. So the overnight date
Windmill
that maybe
part 2.
wasn't just cuddling.
Okay. I just feel like that would be a weird way to start the relationship, though. Like, because the entire time you're like, okay, but she chose me second.
Yes, but this has happened 2 other times before in Bachelor history that I can think of. Jason and Molly, which was the first time that I think the very first time that it happened. He had chosen Melissa, who's from Dallas area, and then
I know
went back.
Melissa from the Dallas area.
Yeah, not your sister, Melissa. And then he went back on his decision and he chose Molly, and they're very happily married with 2 children now. And then Ari, which you saw, had chose Becca and then switched his mind to Lauren. And now they're happily married with a child. So you know what? Sometimes the second choice is okay.
Yeah, I'm not saying it isn't. It just kind of adds some challenge to the relationship. In the back of your head, you're always like, well, I'm always second fiddle
I'm sure.
to a guy named Jed who did a dog food jingle.
Oh, such a bad jingle.
Yeah. So here's my comment. And again, I haven't seen this, so I don't know any of this. Part of me wonders.
Yes.
Well, first of all, I am of the opinion that it is okay to go on the show if you're seeing someone else, because you're not married. The problem was he wasn't upfront with it, right?
I think that's the issue, is the problem that he was not fully honest.
Yeah.
And that was her thing too, is like she felt that the whole experience for her had been stolen from having an authentic decision-making process, which I do agree with, because everything that she had, that she offered, you know, like that was fully seen, and he was hiding really important pieces of information that could have altered her decision and would have made her happier in the end.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know if it made her, she's grown a lot and had to become a lot stronger. So, I mean, like maybe she wouldn't have been happier, but at the same time, it was taken away from her, which is really sad, is that it was stolen like that.
And the cynic in me wonders, when did the show know about this? You know?
Oh, they knew the whole time.
I mean, that's what I think it is. Like, we had the one guy in the very first episode that got thrown off because he had someone he was seeing back home. Yeah, it was a guy named Scott, making us Scots look bad. And I think they were like, well, we can't do 2 of those in a row back to back. That doesn't look good. So we just got to save it. And then I think, you know, it's that damn show you made me watch where I'm just like assuming each one of these producers is like a Machiavellian, like, horrible schemer.
They are. It's fine.
And it's like, oh yeah, this will be a perfect ending. Because you know what I've noticed on this show? Now, I have not been watching the show near as long as you have.
Okay.
But I've noticed that very recently, the endings are more than just endings, right?
Yes, it's always the after.
It can't just end the normal way, right? It
Yes,
can't
it
just
has
end the normal way.
turned into
It's got to
that.
be something else happens.
It seems as though it's planned.
Yeah, and it's like this show. How many damn seasons has this show been on? Like, it's been on for when does the first? I'm looking this up right now. The first season of The Bachelor.
It was in the
Bachelor
90s.
Season.
I think it was the 90s, late 90s, maybe early 2000s.
2002. So 17 years. If the first Bachelor couple had a kid right after they got married, that kid would almost be an adult now.
Yeah.
They've been doing the show.
That's
for
crazy.
that long.
How successful it
And
is.
so I think they're, you know, trying to spice it up a little bit.
Are they?
And it's not working. It's not working on me. Can't do it. I quit. I'm
But
out.
what if Peter's the Bachelor?
I'm out.
What if it's your boy Peter?
I wish, you know what I hope? I hope he's not. I hope what he does is he takes to the fact that he's a good-looking dude who has a really good job and who was just on television and uses that to get a girlfriend without having to be on TV. That's what I hope he does.
Okay.
Because I gotta think that can't be that hard.
I don't think for him it would be that hard.
Pilot,
Flight attendants.
good looking,
Just a flight attendants.
on TV.
Yeah.
That's 3. That's the 3. It's the triumvirate of girlfriend getting.
Ah.
Look good, fly airplanes, be on television.
Okay.
I mean,
Well, we'll see what the future holds
you know,
for Peter.
the Daily Man almost got there. My dad,
Yeah.
he
did.
just quite didn't get on TV.
Yeah. Not all there yet.
One day maybe I'll be on TV, but missing the all-important look good and fly airplanes part.
You're just missing the fly the airplanes part.
Okay, so that is the end of the Bachelor section. We're never doing this part again on the show forever. It's
We're
done.
going to do
over.
Bip cap.
All right, let's move on to Rosie.
Rosie's and Thorny Show. It's the Rosies and the Thornies, Rosies and the Thorny Show, the Rosies and the Thornies, Rosies and the Thorny Show. Okay, yes, Scott. So out of all, we're doing this differently. Usually it's our Rosies and our Thornies for the entire week, but we thought because it was the last time of this format, we would change it, and it would be, what is our rose and our thorn of this format that we have had?
Of the show, not just the format, of the show.
Of the
What is
show, so
we've done
far.
70 episodes in this format.
Okay, for the last
what are
70.
Our
So,
good and bad of the show.
So we're thinking about the roses and thorns in terms of that. So, Scott, what is your thorn from the last 70 episodes?
Coming up with new movies. And that's, I mean, it's the perfect answer to that because I think it's the reason why we're switching this over is because it's becoming increasingly more difficult. I'm less excited about it sometimes. Like, I think one of the things our listeners can see if they look back and if they've listened to all 70 of our episodes, just a handful of listeners. There are not too many, just a handful of listeners.
We don't have that many?
No. I think I think what they will see is that there are weeks that we are very excited about talking about the movie, and there are weeks that we are not so excited about talking about the movie. And in those weeks that we are not so excited about talking about the movie, the podcast is fine. It's fine. It's not great. It's fine. And so, I mean, I think, in my opinion, I felt like there were more of the one than there were the other. There were more shows I was not as excited to talk about than there weren't. And I'm not talking about because of ones you picked. That's not what I'm talking about. Yes, there have been some that you've picked. I'm like, shit, I don't have anything to say about them. But there are also ones that I picked, movies that I absolutely love and I still love. But like, what the fuck are we like? Sphere? What the fuck are we talking Sphere? I love that movie. I think that's a great weird movie. I do not know how to do an entertaining show about that movie with you. So I think part of the reason why we're switching is to play to our strengths a little more. And I think our strengths are gossiping about bullshit drama.
So
and
good
if we
about
can
that.
do that in a reality television setting, why can't we do that in a nice old rich people teen drama, which is why we're starting with the OC and then we're moving on to Dawson's Creek.
That then had a reality show, the OC had a reality show based off of it.
I know. I'm not happy about it, but I know. So yeah, my thorn
Are we
is
going to really
coming up
do
with
Dawson's
movies.
Creek next?
I mean, babe, this is 90-something episodes into the future, so never say never.
I think you'd really like Dawson's Creek.
I've saw the first season. You know what? I really like the first season of Dawson's Creek because that's the one that most emphasizes Dawson's
Movie love.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And hey, I like movies.
I know you do.
Hey, Elise,
Yes.
what
Scott?
is your thorn about Vow To View?
Well, see, so I just really don't like taking the time to write out the script every
It's
week.
so easy.
It's primarily just like I don't want to have to write a summary. That's why I don't read over them.
So-
I just don't want to write it, so I just write it real quick and don't care what comes out.
So, are we not going to be doing a summary of?
Well, here's the deal. You're going to make me do it, so I'm going to have to do it. But I think that here's the catch, Scott. I've watched the whole series multiple times. So if we were going back and forth and it was like you wrote the summary for something that you watched that I picked, isn't this my pick of a show? So you just have to write all the summaries.
Oh, okay. Well, my plan here is to walk through the episode like beat by beat and talk about them. So
okay.
really, the episode itself will be a
Will
summary.
be the summary. So do we have to write that down? Then we could just like
We
think
got to
about.
jot down notes to remember what happened.
I store them all up in my
No,
head,
that's
Scott.
not- no,
yeah,
no,
Yeah, that's how I do.
Hey, Elise, how many
That's
podcasts?
how I do. I do.
How many podcasts have you produced, Elise?
Have I produced? Let's see. About 15.
Wait, really?
Yeah.
What is, the answer that I was going for there was 0.
0.
But you didn't.
No goose egg here.
What are the 15 podcasts that you produced?
Oh, there's the Eenie, the Meanie, the Miney the Mo,
Oh, so you're just lying.
the Catch a Tiger by his toe.
Uh-huh.
If he hollers,
Right.
make him pay
That's not the...
$50 every day. Oh, see, there's 19. I've produced 19. What?
It's the most nonsense thing you've ever come up with.
No.
We're gonna do scripts, babe. I'm sorry. I will take the lead on the script and the summarizing. But
Thank you.
I need you.
Thank
I need
you.
to
what?
swoop in and help me out here.
I will. I'll help you when you need it. But
right.
but you don't need no help, Scott. You got this in the bag.
All right, Elise. What is your rose of Vow To View?
My Rosie, you mean?
Sure.
I love the fact that my Rosies and Thornies caught on. It's the
Wait, how did it catch on? It's not like the world is...
well, it's just like your rose and thorn, but I made it Rosies and Thornies, which is grammatically incorrect, and I know that, but it's still
Who cares?
fun.
Who cares? Who cares?
Nobody cares.
We've branded it, and now it's ours.
I know.
And you know what?
I have a brand now,
So,
Scott.
so is your rose that name specifically, or just the idea of us doing roses and thorns every week? Because I like doing this.
Well-
I like the exercise of having to sit down and think about what's the worst thing that happened to me this week. What's the best
And if
thing
you-
that happened to me this
Yeah,
week?
because if you can't think of something that's bad, like think about how great that is of a week
it's a
that you
great
had.
feeling. It's a
yeah,
great feeling.
yeah. Or if you have to come up with something that's just like so ridiculous, it's like that's the worst thing that happened. Like that makes you feel good.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So I think it's just maybe both of those, like the fact that we do get to do the Rosies and Thornies, and then the fact that we call it Rosies and Thornies because you were like not with that at the beginning of
I
the
don't know
show.
if that's true.
You didn't like it at first.
I don't know if that's
And then
true.
I kept saying it and kept saying it, and then it caught on.
This feels like
And then we made a
this feels like
song.
revisionist history.
Okay, will you just go back and listen to episode 1?
Okay. The great thing about this is when we have arguments and disagreements,
We can.
It's all on tape,
And
baby.
that's why he does it, guys. He does it to
we
bring
don't
back his
know
evidence.
how he does it.
Yes. What's your rose, Scott? I don't understand what you mean by this.
Mine is you.
Me?
So, no, I mean,
I don't get it.
okay, so this is multifaceted. I mean, when I wrote this down, what I was thinking of was just listening to you talk about, like, why you picked some of the movies. And sometimes there were good. Sometimes there were good answers. Sometimes there were just, I don't know, we just, like, watched it a lot when I was a kid. But sometimes you had these really adorable stories. And, like, there's one of the things that I was hoping this did, and one of the things I think it did, was allow me to see a window into what you were like. Like, how often does it come up in normal everyday conversation that, oh yeah, every time we drove to Colorado, we were in the back of the car watching Steel Magnolias? Like, how often is that going to come up in just you and me hanging out talking to each other? But this idea, this format, forced us to have those conversations, forced us to relay this information. Like, and I think that's really cool. And I think that's one of the things I love the most about it. And it's not that, like, that's going to stop. It's just, like, that's kind of run its course. Like, I that's what I look at the end of this part of the show, is that this idea is just kind of run its course, and we want to do something else, and we want to see if that will grow interest in a different kind of way. But the other part, no, go ahead. I'll go ahead.
Okay.
Say what you need to say, and I'll.
So I just remembered there's this movie that I wanted to have us watch because I had a story that went along with it. So did you ever watch the movie Alaska?
Yeah.
Oh, you did?
Yeah.
Well, my sister and I, we would pretend that we were on the side of a mountain, and we had the couch that I think it might still be upstairs in my parents' house right now. We like take all the cushions off of it, and we get a jump rope, and we'd throw the cushions around like they were ice, and then the carpet was the icy water we didn't want to get in. And so we'd like throw the jump rope to each other, and we'd have to like pull each other on the ice in order to be saved from
That's adorable.
That's why I like the movie Alaska, because we used to play games like that. Anyways,
it's been so long since I've seen that movie. I remember it. It's one of those survival movies, right? There's
yeah,
like a plane
only
crash.
it's
Like
kids. It's a brother and sister.
Their dad is in a plane crash, right?
Yes.
And they go looking for
Yes,
him.
and there's a polar bear.
That's not the one with Chris O'Donnell, though. There's a mountain climbing one with Chris O'Donnell in it too, isn't there?
I don't know, but it's not that one.
Okay.
Okay.
Anyway, the other part of this that I just thought of as I was listening to you talk a few
Yes.
minutes ago
Yes.
is watching you kind of grow on the microphone has been really fun for me.
You like me
And
talking?
well, but it's like you've never been like. It's so funny because my parents are like, Elise is so shy, and then I listen to her on podcasts and she's crazy. And I was like, because it's just like
Crazy.
you're a performer, and you get in front of the
That is
microphone and you
true.
perform. But I think if you go back and listen to the first episodes, and maybe some people would have liked it more. I don't know, like. You were kind of nuts those first few episodes.
What?
Yes, you were just like
Scott, that's not true.
yes, it is. Yes, it is. You were like over the top crazy because you're like this is supposed to be conversation, not like constant performance, and you were just like perform mode.
I perform. That's what I do.
The point is that you're much more comfortable just sitting here having a conversation, and maybe that's less interesting to people. Or I think it's like less interesting from a like, oh, look how zany Elisa is mode. But I think it's more interesting from a we actually have conversations on here. That's not just you singing Music Man the entire episode.
But who doesn't want me to sing the Music Man the entire episode?
I do enjoy you singing Music Man. That's for sure.
76 trombones led a big parade.
Yeah.
110 cornets close at hand. Anyways, so yeah, Scott, that's our Rosies and Thornies.
For the last time.
No, because we're going to continue.
We are
Rosies
still
and
going to continue
Thornies.
Rosies and Thornies into the next show. It'll probably be not as long of a section. We spend like a good... I mean, if you look at our episode breakdown, Bachelorette is like 15 minutes. Roses and Thorns is 15 minutes. And then the movie is maybe half an hour. Maybe. I want to spend...
I want to down to like 10.
The movie part?
Yeah, let's just get it
I
down.
want to spend... No, I want to talk about the OC more. I want to spend less time talking about The Bachelor. I want to spend a little less time on a Roses and Thorns.
But what do people really come here for?
I honestly don't know.
I don't either.
But
Rosies and Thornies?
my hope is that people will come
The Bachelor?
to listen to hear about their favorite teen show, The Orange County.
Teen Spirit?
No.
No? Okay. Anyways.
Speaking of that part of the show that
Yes.
we spend the least amount of time on,
Yes.
Elise, it's time to talk about time
It is.
because we're talking about time.
Yes.
That's pretty good, what I just did there.
That's
Are you proud of
so
me?
funny. I think, ha ha ha. Can I read the summary, please, that you wrote?
Yes, you may.
Okay. On his 21st birthday, Tim Lake, Domhnall Gleeson, learns that the men in his family have the ability to travel backwards in time. Naturally, Tim uses his power to attempt to get Margot Robbie to fall in love with him. That fails, so he settles for Rachel McAdams. It's a movie about love, about family, about our journey through time, and the lessons we learn along the way. It makes us cry a whole bunch.
It
It
does.
does. It makes us both cry a whole bunch. I was like laying there next to Scott, and he's trying to be that like cool crier, and he's just like, and you could like, he's not like making a lot of noise, but his like body is crying.
I don't
you
cry.
know?
Like, I don't make noise when I cry.
No, you don't. But you physically like whimper.
Physically whimper.
It's like your
I
body.
shake. I
Yeah.
shudder. Yeah. Yeah, it's called crying, Elise. Get over it.
Yeah.
This movie was written and directed by Richard Curtis, who...
Yeah. What's he done, Scott? Tell me.
Oh, my God.
Tell me what's he done.
What hasn't he done?
I don't know.
Elise?
He probably hasn't done Wind River.
He's-
He probably hasn't done Taxi Driver.
Are you just looking at my DVD wall? He's done Love Actually. He's done 4 Weddings and a Funeral. He's done Pirate Radio. He's done
He did Pirate Radio?
Yes.
I love Pirate Radio.
Notting Hill. Bridget Jones' Diary.
Oh my gosh. No wonder I love this movie
This
so
guy
much.
is like the fucking king of
British comedy.
British romantic comedies. He's also writing the screenplay for the Little Mermaid live action.
Oh my gosh, I'm going to love it.
Yeah. So I love Richard Curtis. I
do too,
Richard
evidently.
Curtis's writing. I think he's fantastic. And this movie, I don't know, like it was 2013 when this movie came out. I honestly, like, I'm going to ask you what your story around this movie was. I don't know if I remember like the first time I experienced
I
this
do.
movie. Is it going to upset me?
I don't know if it'll upset you.
Okay. What's your story?
Well, the first time I watched the movie, I watched it with my mom.
Oh. Why would
So
that
it was
upset
just
me?
really
I thought it was going to be like
sad.
a boy. You were
No.
like a boy.
No.
Like some pre-Scott loser.
No. I don't remember
Chump.
when like how close it was to the time that it came out. It wasn't in the theaters.
I
My
don't
mom
think
and
I
I
saw
just
it in the
saw it.
theaters
I
either.
think it was on TV. Maybe we rented it. I don't remember. But yeah, my mom and I, we watched it when I was at home one time. I don't know if it was when I was living at home or if I was just over, but it just made me cry too because I'm watching it with my mom. And like as much as this movie is about him learning about love, about like him wanting to use his power for love, like that's what he said it was, is he was going to use it in order to find love at the beginning once he realized he could travel back in time. But I feel like towards the end of the movie, you watch the relationship of him and Rachel McAdams unfold, but the relationship between him and his father is
the emotional core of the film.
Yeah. And so like watching that with who I believe I have a similar relationship like that with is just, that was what like kind of made me more emotional. I think whenever I saw it was because like you realize how important that relationship is to them on screen, and you know how important the relationship is to you. And so it's hard to watch because it's like that choice of how much he loved his dad and how even though everyone else had to say goodbye to him, he didn't.
Mm-hmm.
And how like that affected him in a sense to have to try and move on, but then making the decision with the person that he loved in the present to not forget the person that he loved in the past, but to say it's okay and to let go with that. Like that messes with me every single time. It's like, I know the point that I'm going to cry. I'm going to cry at the point that they're sitting
You're
down
about to cry right
and they're
now.
having the conversation. And she's like, I think we should have another kid. And then you like see what that means to him on his face.
Mm-hmm.
And she doesn't understand and she never will understand. But then when he like says, okay, your heart sinks because you realize he's saying yes to his kid, but he's saying no to the relationship that meant so much. And then when the ping pong, and he just has to go walk up there and then tell his dad, like, this is the last time. And then they go back. It's all an emotional roller coaster.
For the people that haven't seen this movie, possibly. The concept he can go back in time. He can go back in time to any point he wants in his lifetime, but the rules established by the thing are once you've had a kid, you can't go back in time past the point of your kid's birth because any subtle change would change who the kid is, and would change who you know the kid as. And like, so once the kid is born, that's it. Unless you want a different kid every time you come back, that's it. So yeah, that's the cutoff. So his father has passed away, and I think it's really lovely because like his father, got to that point, realized he was going to die, went back in time, retired at 50, spent the rest of his days making sure he was as available as possible to hang out with his kids. And it's this adorable, like, tragic thing. Like, one of the things I love about this movie is that time travel can't fix everything. It can't make people fall in love with you. It can't prevent you from dying. Mm-hmm. It can't solve all your problems for you. In fact, a lot of times it makes new problems you have to deal with. Like, I love the part where he's trying to help his sister, right? And his sister's, and he goes back in time and fixes all her problems for her, but then that ruins something else. And the real issues in life can't be solved by a little gimmick. And I think you're absolutely right that that's what the end of the movie is. And to me, it's this central idea of like, I mean, I love my dad, and my dad is going to pass away someday. And that like thinking about that, like, destroys me. But like, there's a thing in life that happens. And I think that why the decision to have the third kid and say goodbye to his father thing it's such an impactful, powerful moment, is that like, as you start creating your family, as you start making your family and moving from that son role into that father role, you put that other part of your life behind you. That goes away, right? It's not going to be the same. It's just, so like, there is a point in everyone's life where you have to look towards the future. You can't keep looking towards the past. And yeah, I mean, Rachel McAdams, bless her heart, like, doesn't get that in this case,
No.
just because and of course it makes sense to me that she doesn't get that because this is a very personal thing between him and his father and the relationship he's had with his father. Oh yeah, like I love the romance in this movie. I think Rachel McAdams and Domhnall Gleeson are
The
adorable
epitome
together.
of cute.
They are adorable together. They're such talented actors and they have great chemistry. But yeah, the emotional hook of this movie is not their relationship. I love it. I love watching it. It makes me very happy to see them together. I love seeing them come together. I love the montage in the subway of their relationship.
I think that's
I
so
love
creative.
that,
Well, I
yeah.
mean, not that it hasn't ever been done before, but it's just done so well.
It is. It is.
Yeah.
But yeah, the emotional core of the movie is always going to be him and his father, played expertly by Bill Nye. God, I love Bill Nye. He's so good.
His hands, though, once I tell you,
Yeah. He's got.
he has a disease to where his hands are like frozen to where his ring and his pinky finger are bent down and he can't straighten any of his fingers, but the ring finger and the pinky are forever bent.
Yeah, and I did not notice that until Elise pointed it out.
And now you won't
watching
ever
this
notice
movie.
it.
So yeah, we love this movie, but I think we fell in love with this movie independently, and then we fell in love with this movie together. I think.
Yeah.
This we used a lot of the songs in this movie in our wedding.
We did.
Our first dance was or was it our final hidden dance, or was it?
No, it was our first dance.
Our first dance was to The Luckiest, which is a Ben Folds song that's in this movie that I just love. It's so beautiful. We used some music for the.
I think I walked down to the aisle.
walked down the aisle,
and I do think that our last song was a different version of the "How Long Will I Love You" song, wasn't it?
I
think it
remember,
was.
to be honest with
I
you.
picked all the
think
music.
you're
I'm pretty
probably right.
sure. Trifecta of about. It does have great music.
I mean, yeah, the music's great, but I think more than just this is good music. This is an important film to us, and like the lesson at the end of the movie to me, and this is why I like watching the movie like multiple times per year, because we're human beings and we forget. But every time I watch this movie, the ending on, I don't even go back in time anymore. I just live each day as if I've chosen to travel to this particular day. And how would I treat this? How would I treat this day if I had said, this is the day I'm going to travel to? I think that's an important message. Like I like every time I come away from watching this movie, I spend the next few weeks, and then it fades because we're humans and that's what we do. But I spend the next few weeks being more present, being more aware, trying to be more conscious of my life and the spot in my life that I'm in. We are collectively in a pretty good time in our lives, right? Both of our parents are still healthy. We're healthy. We're young. We both have jobs. We've had some difficulties, but life's pretty good. And life's not always going to be that way. And, watching movies like this makes you appreciate those moments, I think. And especially since this is the movie I think of when I think of you. This is the movie I think of when I think of our relationship and our love. And no, we are not exactly like Rachel McAdams and Domhnall Gleeson, but you're very similar to Rachel McAdams' character in this movie.
I am?
At times.
Why am I?
I just every time when he says, you want to go to the theater with me tomorrow, and she goes, no, I want to sleep. And when he proposes to her and wakes her up, and she's like, wait a minute, important question, romantic music, is he down on one knee? Yeah. Did you get so bored at the theater that you decided to marry? It's very you, I think. It's very you.
Well, I will take that as a compliment. Thank you very much.
You should.
Yeah.
So I don't know.
what
I
else
love
to say.
About Time. I think it's a marvelous movie in every way. The music is fantastic. The direction, I mean, I didn't actually know until we were looking up for this that he directed it as well.
No.
I don't think he's directed that many of his films, but I like this one. And he just came out with a new movie called Yesterday.
Loved that one too.
And we liked that one too.
I do think this one's still my favorite of all the ones that he's done.
Yeah, for sure.
But
absolutely. No question.
It was good.
But it's the perfect use of like a gimmick like that. Like time travel as a gimmick is really just a method of exploring humanity and life. And I love my life with you. And
Aw.
I love watching this movie with you. I watch this movie by myself sometimes. I love watching it with you way more.
I don't know if I could watch by myself. It just makes me cry.
Mm-hmm.
Oh well.
Anything else to say about Time?
If you haven't seen it, you should really go see it.
You want to? It's so funny. So I've never seen this on IMDb before, but here's what was listed as a goof and has now been refiled to incorrectly regarded as a goof.
Okay.
Tim's father tells him that he's unable to travel back in time before the birth of his children because doing anything slightly differently would result in a different sperm at a different moment, resulting in a different child. However, this means that Tim would be unable to travel back past conception of his child, not their births. And then obviously someone went in afterwards and said, this entry is not a valid goof. The changes made to sperm-producing girl Posey mattered, as Tim had already loved and knew Posey. She had a history and personality that Tim was not willing to change. Tim visited his father before the third child's birth does not negate the reliance of the plot point, though. Tim's last visit with his dad takes place before number 3's birth. As such, there is no ingrained gender or personality for Tim to fear losing. Yes, it could alter the baby, but not in any way noticeable to Tim.
It's true.
Which is true, but also, like, guys, calm down and just, like, enjoy the movie. Just enjoy the movie. Stop picking apart the time travel bullshit.
Because if you do that, then it'll never work.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I learned in Avengers Endgame.
That's what you learned in Avengers Endgame?
Yep.
Okay.
About time travel.
All right, Elise.
Yeah.
Next
all right,
week
Scott.
on the show.
Yeah. What you say?
California, here we come.
That's beautiful. You're going to sing the intro,
You
right?
don't mean that.
You're going to sing the intro? California, here we come, right back where we started from. California. I tried to lean back from the mic so I didn't blow it up, but I'm sorry if I blew it up.
You definitely
still.
blew it up. Yeah, next week we start with season 1, episode 1 of the OC, entitled, creatively enough,
The pilot.
Pilot.
I love this show, guys.
So, hey,
The pilot's really bad, though. I'm sorry.
Hey, Elise, what pilots are usually bad? Elise, where can people find the OC if they want to watch along with us?
I don't remember it. It's on one of our streaming things. Is it Hulu?
It's on Hulu.
It's on Hulu. All the seasons are on Hulu. I have the whole series here, though.
Oh, yeah, that'll be helpful to our listeners. Why don't you
Yeah.
just send those to them?
I can't do that. Remember when Netflix did that? A long time.
Yeah, I do.
Anyways, okay. Well, yeah. So that's what we're going to do starting next week, Scott.
Yeah.
Just making our way through the OC.
Each week will be a new episode, and you can follow along with us and enjoy this blast from the early 2000s. We're going to walk through the episodes. We're going to have some fun segments. It's going to be a good time, I think. I'm pretty excited about it, at
I
least.
forgot what some of the segments were that I said.
Oh
I think
my
I have
God.
them written
Hey,
down somewhere.
this is why you write them down. I thought your brain was like a trap and you just didn't forget anything.
Well,
No need for a script when you got this, baby.
I mean, this has been a long time since we've had the other conversation about what to put in there.
Yeah, that's why you write them down, Elise. Ugh. All right, guys, that's all we have for you this week. If you like this podcast or Whatcha Say, our OC podcast, you can check it and all the other shows we do over at our website, doofmedia.com. Also, it's never been a better time to become a patron of Doof Media because we're launching a new show right here. Elise, did you know we just got...
I found my notes.
There you go. Elise,
Yeah.
did you know we just got
Probably
a brand new show on the Doof Media Podcasting
Oh, yeah. I knew
Network?
that. I knew that.
Do you know what it's called?
Do the right thing.
Do you know what it's about?
It's about writing. You're given 4 words.
Mm-hmm.
You have to use 3 of them in a story.
Yeah, and you only have 30 minutes to write it.
You only have 30 minutes to write it.
And then they meet up once a week, read over their stories, and then read over some of the listener-submitted stories.
You know, it'd be an interesting layer to add on to that.
What?
They each have a different genre that the other person picks for them to write.
Why complicate it more? They're writing a short story in 30 minutes with 3 words. Why you got to add another layer? Why can't you just let them enjoy the layers that they have?
Just that way you always have different genres.
Well, maybe you'll have different genres anyway, just because of the
You don't know
magic of...
And that way the same person doesn't write the same genre every single week.
I don't think...
I'm just an ideas girl. You don't ever have to take my ideas. I just get ideas and I throw them out there.
Hey,
And
Lisa,
if you like it, then that's great.
At least
Take
if
it.
they
If
want to
not,
support our new show, Do the Right Thing, if they want to support our new show, Whatcha Say, if they
What
want
you
to
say?
if they want to support all the shows we create here at
Yeah.
the Doof Media Podcasting Network, how can they do that?
They can go to patreon.com/doof media and they can give any amount of money that they would like to give. Maybe think about how much money do you wish you had in high school? Mm-hmm. You know, because when you're
So
in high school,
give that
you
much.
just don't really have a lot. So you're like, hey, yeah, this is something that I really wanted to buy in high school, but I didn't have enough money then, but have enough money now.
But I'm not going to buy it.
But I'm not going to buy it. I'm going to give it to Doof.
I'm going to instead give it to other people.
Yeah.
So I'm out of high school now. Finally, I have money. Finally, I can
Yeah.
buy all the things I want.
Man, I really wanted those Lucky 7 pair of jeans.
But here comes Elise to swoop in and say, don't buy yourself that thing. Give us the money.
Basically.
Okay. That's a bold strategy.
Yeah.
Let's see how
Why
it
not?
works. Yeah, once again, you can go to patreon.com/doofmedia. There's tons of bonus content, rewards, a bunch of stuff you get for pledging to us. So check that out.
Have you restructured them
Not yet.
Okay, because I was going to advertise one of the things, but that's okay.
All right, guys. And once again, for the last time, if you can do us a kindness by leaving us a rating and a review, we would really appreciate
please.
that, especially as we switch over to the new podcast. I know we said this before, but it's really important to hit the ground running with that. So please, please, please take the time to do that if you can.
We need to know what you say about us.
That's lame. That's lame. Hey, Lise,
Yeah.
thanks for watching all those movies with me.
Oh, yeah. I'll still watch some more.
Yeah. I
Is that
love you.
okay?
I love you.
Hey, I love you too, boo.
Well, I'll see you tomorrow in sunny Newport.
Okay.
Cohen's.
Okay. I love you.
Ryan.
Okay. I love you.
Misha Barton.
Okay.
Summer. California.